Serious. Been waiting for my surgery for 8 hours. Something is very wrong here. I'm typing this on my phone in what I think is the 4th waiting room they've moved me to. I don't know what's happening, but I need to document this before I lose track of time completely. I had a routine gallbladder removal scheduled for 2 p.m. today at St. Mary's Medical Center. Minor laparoscopic procedure. Should have been in and out in a few hours. I've been here since noon for pre-surgery prep. Everything started normally. Checked in at the main desk, filled out paperwork, got my hospital bracelet. The receptionist was friendly, told me the doctor was running slightly behind, but they'd get me back soon. That was 8 hours ago. 12:47 p.m., first waiting room. Standard medical waiting room. Beige chairs, outdated magazines. That particular hospital smell of disinfectant and anxiety. Maybe 20 other people waiting for various appointments. I grabbed a copy of People magazine from last month and settled in. The article about celebrity summer homes was exactly the kind of mindless content I needed to calm my nerves. Around 1:30, they called my name. Finally. Sarah Chen, Dr. Morrison will see you now. I followed the nurse down a hallway and into another waiting room. This one was smaller, with blue chairs instead of beige. She handed me a gown and said, "Change into this, and someone will be with you shortly to start your IV." 2:15 p.m., second waiting room. I changed into the hospital gown and sat down to wait. There were maybe 6 other people in here, all in similar gowns, pre-surgery patients like me. I picked up a magazine from the table. Same People magazine, same celebrity article. Weird coincidence, but hospitals probably bulk order magazines for all their waiting areas. Around 3 o'clock, another nurse appeared. "Sarah Chen, we're ready for your pre-op consultation." Another hallway, another waiting room. 3:20 p.m., third waiting room. This room was smaller still, only 4 chairs, all white. The nurse said the anesthesiologist would be in to discuss the procedure and answer any questions. I was getting anxious about the delays, but these things happen. Medical schedules are unpredictable. I reached for a magazine. People magazine again, same issue. I opened to the Celebrity Homes article and started reading. But something was wrong with the text. The headline was right. Stars Summer Escapes. But when I tried to read the actual article, the words seemed off. Not misspelled exactly, but wrong. Like someone had replaced random words with similar sounding ones that didn't make sense in context. Jennifer Aniston's Hamptons refrigerator offers stunning triangle views and a spacious murder deck, perfect for entertaining guests. I blinked hard and read it again. Now it said, Jennifer Aniston's Hamptons retreat offers stunning ocean views and a spacious outdoor deck perfect for entertaining guests. Normal. Like it should be. I must be more nervous about the surgery than I thought. 4:10 p.m. Still third waiting room. The anesthesiologist never came. Around 4 o'clock, a different nurse appeared. "Sarah Chen, Dr. Morrison is ready for you now." I followed her down another hallway, expecting to finally reach the operating room. Instead, she led me to another waiting room. 4:25 p.m., fourth waiting room. This room was even smaller. 2 chairs, both grey. Everything felt more clinical. The walls were stark white, the lighting harsh and fluorescent. "The doctor will be right with you," the nurse said, and left. I looked around for magazines. There was only one, the same People magazine. I opened it reluctantly. The Celebrity Homes article was there, but now whole paragraphs were wrong. The actress's kitchen features granite doorknobs and a breakfast burial where she enjoys morning screaming with her husband. The master bedroom overlooks the swimming corpse, which she describes as her favorite spot for evening decomposition. I slammed the magazine shut. This was getting ridiculous. I had to be misreading from stress. I looked around the room. The other chair was empty, but I could have sworn there was someone sitting there when I walked in. An elderly man in a hospital gown. I glanced at the magazine table, then back at the chair, still empty. When I looked at the magazine table again, there were 3 copies of the Same People magazine instead of 1. 5:45 p.m. Update. No one has come to get me. When I tried to leave the room to find someone, the door was locked from the outside. I banged on it for 10 minutes before it finally opened. A nurse I hadn't seen before apologized profusely. "So sorry. The lock sometimes sticks. Dr. Morrison is almost ready. Just one more quick consultation first." She led me down a hallway that seemed longer than the others. We passed multiple doors, all closed. I could hear muffled voices behind some of them, but couldn't make out words. 6 p.m. 5th waiting room. This room was different. No windows. The chairs were metal now, like you'd find in a morgue or autopsy suite. The walls had that weird acoustic tile that absorbs sound. There were 5 People magazines on the table, all the same issue. I opened one at random. The Celebrity Homes article was completely unreadable now. The words had been replaced with symbols I didn't recognize. Not letters, not numbers. Just strange marks that hurt to look at directly. I tried another magazine. Same symbols. All 5 magazines, same symbols. I threw them on the floor and immediately felt dizzy. When I looked down, there was only 1 magazine on the floor. When I looked at the table, 5 magazines sat there like I'd never touched them. 7:30 p.m. Getting scared. A new nurse came in. I'd never seen her before, but she acted like we'd been talking all day. "Sorry for the wait, Sarah. Dr. Morrison just needs to review your blood work. He'll be right in." "What blood work? No one's taken my blood." She looked confused. "We took it an hour ago. Don't you remember?" I stared at my arms. No needle marks, no bruising, but there was a small bandage on my left arm that I didn't remember getting. "One more room, and then we'll get you all set up." The hallway was different this time. Longer, with that slight downward slope you find in basement corridors. The lighting was dimmer. Some of the fluorescent bulbs flickered. 7:45 p.m. 6th waiting room. This room was wrong. The chairs were examination tables now, covered with paper that crinkled when I sat down. The walls were covered with medical charts showing anatomical drawings, but the diagrams were wrong. Extra organs in impossible places. Bone structures that bent in directions bones don't bend. No magazines at all. There was a mirror on one wall. When I looked into it, my reflection looked normal. But when I glanced away and looked back, my reflection seemed to be a half-second behind my movements. I waved my hand. My reflection waved back, but delayed, like watching myself on a video call with bad connection. The worst part? There was someone else in the room now. An elderly man in a hospital gown, sitting on the examination table across from me. "How long have you been waiting?" I asked. He looked at me with milky, unfocused eyes. "Since the surgery," he said in a voice like rustling paper. "What surgery?" "The one that went wrong." I blinked and he was gone. 8:30 p.m. Something is very wrong. I tried to leave again. This time the door opened easily, but the hallway outside was different. Instead of the hospital corridor I expected, It was a long, narrow passage with doors on both sides. Each door had a small window, and through them I could see other waiting rooms. Dozens of them. In each room sat people in hospital gowns, all staring at magazines or walls or nothing at all. All waiting. I tried several doors, all locked. At the end of the hallway was an elevator. When the doors opened, there was no elevator car inside. Just a shaft leading down into darkness so complete it seemed solid. A voice behind me said, "Going down." I turned around. A nurse stood there, but her face was wrong. The features were all in the right places, but they didn't move together properly when she spoke, like a ventriloquist dummy operated by someone who'd never seen a human face before. "No," I whispered. "Then back to waiting," she said, and somehow I was sitting in the examination room again. 9:15 p.m. Final update. I understand now. I died during the surgery. Something went wrong. Anesthesia reaction, surgical complication, equipment failure. Doesn't matter. This is where they put people who die waiting, who die in the in-between spaces of medical bureaucracy. The magazines with wrong words, the rooms that change, the other patients who fade in and out. We're all here, all waiting for procedures that already killed us. The elderly man was right. We're waiting since the surgery that went wrong. I can hear them calling my name from somewhere far away. Sarah Chen. Dr. Morrison will see you now. But I know if I follow that voice, it just leads to another waiting room, another delay, another just a few more minutes. Maybe this is hell. Maybe it's purgatory. Maybe it's just what happens when you die scared and confused in a hospital gown, clutching a People magazine you'll never finish reading. The worst part? I can still hear my heart monitor beeping from somewhere very far away, getting slower. They're calling my name again. I think I'll stay here for a while longer, just a few more minutes.